Local government administration is a third tier of government and it's considered the closest form of governance to the people. There's been a sustained argument that the 774 local government areas are contributing little to national development to justify their existence. However, my guest on this week's episode of the program thinks otherwise. Hello there, welcome to Dateline Abuja. I'm Gloria Umezuke. Now, one of the issues that came up during the latest constitution amendment is local government autonomy. Many have argued that if the proposal is entrenched into the constitution, most of the local government areas will be strengthened to fulfill their mandate. We'll be looking at local government administration in our conversation with the local government chairman of the Abuja Municipal Area Council. But first, what are the stories that made headlines within the week in the nation's capital?
Certain challenges posed as obstacles.
The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onoga, has called on other arms of government to respect the separation of powers, as the independence of the judiciary can only be sustained and guaranteed where there is no interference by the other arms of government in the discharge of its duties. The Chief Justice, who was represented by Justice Kumai Aka, believes that the true test of democracy of any nation is how much power the nation is prepared to concede to the judiciary.
It's quite often said that the litmus test to find out how free and democratic any nation is to take a cursory look at its judiciary to find out what powers the nation is prepared to concede to this vital partner in governance. The independence of the judiciary can only be sustained and guaranteed when there is no interference by the other arms of government in the discharge of its duties.
The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, says it is time for Nigeria to join the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement after weighing the opportunity cost of not being part of the trade area. Speaking at the quarterly business forum at the State House, Professor Osinbajo explains that while the trade negotiation is on, Nigeria will take into account issues that can pose injurious trade practices in the country.
There are clearly huge gains for us, no question at all. The rest of Africa also naturally see the enormous advantage of Nigeria's participation. Everybody is waiting for us, naturally. And that's because they see a huge market, they see the advantages of our being there. But we must be sure to get the best possible terms for Nigerian trade and commerce. Our experiences with dumping, with transshipment and other injurious trade practices make it obvious to us that our market could be a real target.
President Muhammadu Buhari is asking the National Assembly to transfer about 229 billion naira from the projects which the Parliament inserted into the 2018 budget to finance the 2019 general elections. In a letter addressed to the National Assembly, President Buhari says the 2019 general elections will cost 242.4 billion naira, and the funds which he is asking the National Assembly to via will cover a huge chunk of the cost for the 2019 elections, as well as critical projects.
In light of the prevailing fiscal constraint, I am proposing that the sum of 164 billion 104 million 792,065 naira be provided for through vehement or supplementation of the 2018 budget. Accordingly, I invite the distinguished Senate to consider, in the national interest, relocating some of the funds appropriated for the new projects which were inserted into the 2018 budget proposal.
Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo wants the traditional institutions to play a key role in the government's effort to ensure peace and security across the country. Well, speaking at the 10th National Development Summit of Traditional Rulers, Professor Osinbajo explained that traditional institutions are repositories of important intelligence which can be used to detect suspicious or criminal activities within their domain.
You are also repositories of important intelligence that can be useful in detecting suspicious or criminal activity. The partnership between traditional authorities and government is therefore crucial for the survival of peace and security of our nation. May I therefore most respectfully ask that you take this as a call to you as royal fathers, as traditional rulers, as elder statesmen, to commit yourselves to deepening your partnership with the government to achieve our shared goal of laying the foundations of peace and security that will guarantee true greatness for our nation.
Lawmakers in the Senate disagreed over the confirmation of members of the governing board for the Federal Road Maintenance Agency. This occurred after Senate President Dr. Bukola Saraki read a letter from President Muhammadu Buhari at the plenary in which he sought legislative approval for the appointments of the candidates. In the letter, President Buhari indicated that the 6 geopolitical zones of the country were represented in the board, but the Deputy Senate President, Senator Ike Ekweremadu, objected to the chairmanship of the board, alleging nepotism in the appointment of the leadership of the agency. Consequently, Senator Saraki referred the matter to the Committee on Federal Character to guide the Senate appropriately on how to address the issue. President Muhammadu Buhari met with the President of the Senate, Dr. Bukola Saraki, and some state governors. The meeting, which held behind closed doors at the presidential villa, was also attended by the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. The governors in attendance include Governor Abdulaziz Yari of Zamfara State, Governor Ibikunle Amosun of Ogun, Governor Atiku Badugu of Kebbi State, and Governor Aminu Masari of Katsina State. However, neither the Senate President nor the governors commented on the purpose of the meeting when it ended. The meeting held one day after Senate President and some governors met with the National Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Uche Secondus. State governors are calling for more drastic action by security agencies towards the rising spate of killings in the country. Governor Willie Obiano of Anambra State disclosed at a media briefing after the National Economic Council meeting at the State House that the National Economic Council is equally worried and insists that the killings must stop. Although he says the $1 billion deducted by the federal government from the excess crude account 2 months ago to fight insurgency across the nation has not been expended, he expressed confidence that the security agencies will listen to the cries of Nigerians and urgently address the security crisis.
I was properly informed that even that amount has not been expended as we speak. There's a growing concern, including at the council and elsewhere, that issue of killing must stop, and I believe that all the appropriate agencies are aware that that concern is growing, and I'm confident that they will listen to the pleas of people and do something more drastic than has been done so far.
President Muhammadu Buhari is asking medical practitioners to embrace negotiations for better working conditions instead of strikes. He gave the charge when he received new executives of the Nigerian Medical Association. He explained that the federal government is also considering increasing budgetary allocation to the health sector.
Government is considering the Ayele Ahmed report as a platform in resolving the interprofessional rivalry in the health sector. The office of the SGF is handling this matter. We are also committed in reconstituting the Board, Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria.